on the next step in our evolution department. We're moving from 5K to 6K, right? So the current state-of-the-art sensor is the 5K Mysterium X, which is between 12 and 13 stops of dynamic range. The new sensor goes to 6K and 15 stops of dynamic range. So this is another quantum leap, right? Another giant leap forward. We're going to upgrade customers from their MX 5K to the Dragon 6K for $6,000. So the tagline, 6K for 6K, right? So it's very, very cost effective, logical. And what we're doing now, since we've migrated through those cameras and done sort of rolling upgrades through them, new heat sinks, a couple of new pieces and parts, we now will take all the customers that have their existing M's and do a full-on upgrade at no charge. So we'll get them up to full factory spec. So they got all the benefit of having them early and making hopefully a boatload of money, which a lot of people did. And then we'll update it to all the latest stuff. So they have their cake and they eat it too, right? So that's a good thing. No cost in that. That'll start pretty soon. So that's another good thing. Going on the 6K sensor from between 12 to 13 stops to 15 stops. And if you understand the photographic medium and what that means, it's funny how the numbers start to become less and less important and actually much bigger gaps in terms of how much has changed, because the movement from 4K to 5K is 60% more resolution, which is a huge difference. The movement from 5K to 6K is that level, and the movement from 13 stops to 15 stops is monstrous in terms of what you can do with the picture quality. So you know we have the Canon mount that's out, and people have been using Canon and PL mount. We have a Nikon mount now, it's also a smart mount. Very, very inexpensive, $700 for the aluminum, and I think $2,200 for the titanium. So people that use Nikon lenses, we also have a Leica mount coming, a Leica M mount for that class. So we're starting to expand that universe of the different kind of lenses people want to use for cinema, stills. And if you think about what these cameras are, right, you get the question all the time, well, is that a movie camera or a still camera? Well, the answer is yes, it's both. It is very, very capable and natural and at home in both worlds, right? So it shoots all the biggest movies in the world, and all these big TV shows, and music videos, commercials, and everything. And now it's also being adopted in droves by still photographers. I love the form factor. I love the ability to get motion and still from the same device. We interface all the time with people in the industry. Cinematographers, still photographers, camera assistants, etc., etc., etc. It's how we learn how to make this product as relevant as possible, right? So one of the things that we're working on is called the Meisler module. So it's nicknamed after Steve Meisler because it was partially his brainchild to kind of position and work a concept that would take away what we call the world of spaghetti, right? So in a typical cinema configuration, when you're running a bunch of wireless focus and all kinds of different options on the camera, you get all kinds of cabling and all kinds of jerry-rigged activity going on the camera. And it's troublesome, right? So he was saying we should have a better mousetrap. If Red can design everything else so small and compact, why can't we design an integrated system to make this work better, this whole rigging system? So that's what this is. So it's this little piece that you see right here, this little box right here, attached to the back of the camera. It integrates wireless video, wireless audio, and full-on fizz control. So for those that aren't in the cinema world, fizz is the focus, iris, zoom control, right? So we have these motors that are driving it. It all configs and runs right into here, so it just attaches to the camera. So there's basically only one cable now, not 300 cables. And if you see, and I'll talk about this in a minute, the big display. Let's get a better. If you see now, I have full control wirelessly. And there's a partnership with our friends at Reality Element Technica that work with us on the wireless controller side and some of the integration of this, right? So it's their controller, their wireless controller. If we had a zoom lens, we could also control the zoom range. So there's these sliders for all that kind of stuff. But this starts to make this more simple. Cost for this module is, I think, targeted at $13,000, which if you understand that world and what that stuff actually costs pre-Red, this is also a breakthrough from a cost performance standpoint. So we got that going. Now, there's another version of this that's much more simple, and this camera over here, I'll show it to you in a second, we'll go over there in a minute, that just does the wireless video. This has it all integrated. But there's another version that won't cost as much as this, that will just do the wireless video. The other new thing that's coming is this. So this is a 9-inch display. So the display is actually bigger than the camera. which is really interesting, right? It's also a touchscreen display. So I can control it touchscreen, right? I have all my options there. The idea of this is it's very lightweight, it's very thin, right? And once you start to get used to a tool like this, you never even want to go back to a smaller display because I can really see critical focus, right? So it's the same technology, the same usability as a smaller monitor, just a bigger canvas to look at. And of course, it doesn't always have to be mounted on the camera. You can mount it low or back. So this is a coming soon. There is a price point for it. I don't exactly remember. I think it's in it's above $3,000, but I'm not sure what the actual price is. So that's one of the pieces that we're doing, right?
Availability.
So again, targeted before end of the year. That's the target. Now, of course, one of the things that's always really impressive about this camera is the low light sensitivity, right? So let me see if I can get to a place where there's no light down in there. So let's go to Iris. Here's Nate shooting. So he's on a Scarlet configuration. Now let's say I wanted a little more light on the subject there. I can take it up to 2000 ISO. Just 2000 ISO. And that's completely usable in this. I mean, look at it in your eyes versus what the camera's picking up. There's no more noise in this image than there is at 800.